Once upon a time there was a widower and a widower. The woman had a daughter, and the man also had a daughter. The two children were close friends, often invited each other to play and then returned to the widow and number 39's house. Once a widow told the man and number 39's daughter, "Listen to me, go back and tell your father that I want to live with your father." "Okay, then I will love you more than my child, you can have whatever you want." The child went home and told his father the end of the story. The man muttered to himself, "I Don and number 39 know what to do. Getting married is both fun and painful. I and number 39 am confused and Don and number 39 know how to decide." Finally, he took off the boot he was wearing and told his son, "Take this boot, it has a hole in the sole. Go up to the attic, hang your shoes on that big nail, then pour water into the shoes. If the shoes can hold the water, Dad will get married. If the water leaks out, then that and number 39's it." The girl did as her father told her. Water penetrates the skin and expands, filling the hole, filling the shoe with water without leaking out. The girl ran down to tell her father. Dad went up to see for himself and saw that it was as you said. He immediately went to the widow and number 39's house and told her his intentions. And the wedding ceremony was held. The next morning, when the two girls woke up, in front of the man and number 39's stepdaughter was milk to wash her face and wine to drink. In front of the woman and number 39's stepdaughter, there was only water to wash her face and drink. On the second day, in front of the man and number 39's stepdaughter as well as the woman and number 39's stepdaughter were just plain water to both wash their faces and drink. On the third day, in front of the man and number 39's stepdaughter there was only water, to wash his face as well as to drink, and in front of the woman and number 39's daughter there was milk to wash her face and wine to drink. And things continued like that in the following days. Now the stepmother clearly hates her husband and number 39's stepdaughter, she hates her with all her heart, always scratching her head and trying to figure out how to torment her. She became even more angry when she saw that her child was disgustingly ugly, while her stepchild was beautiful and charming. On a winter day, the weather was freezing, snow covered the mountains and valleys. The stepmother made a shirt out of paper, called her husband and said, "Here, put on this shirt, then go into the forest to pick it. Give me a basket full of strawberries, I and number 39 am craving strawberries." The girl complained, "Oh my God, how miserable I am. There are no strawberries growing in the winter." Everywhere was covered with white snow and the ground was hard and cold. It was so cold outside that my breath seemed to freeze, and the wind blew so cold it cut my skin, penetrating every joint. It and number 39's so cold that I can and number 39's stand wearing a paper shirt. Stepmother shouted, "Do you want to argue with me? If you want to live, go now. If you get a full basket of berries, then go home with your face on." She gave her a piece of dry bread and said, "That and number 39's bread to eat all day." She thought to herself, and quote, "It will die of hunger or cold, let and number 39's see if that and number 39's the case." And quote. The girl had to obey, put on a paper shirt and take a basket and go into the forest. Outside it was covered in immense snow. Nowhere was there a blade of green grass. At night in the middle of the forest, she saw a small house with 3 dwarves standing looking out. She greeted them and gently knocked on the door. They said, "Please come in." She walked into the house and sat on the couch by the fireplace. She rubbed her hands to warm them up and was about to have breakfast when the 3 dwarves said, "Please share some with us." She said, "Yes, please." She broke the piece of bread in 2 and gave half to them. They asked her, "What are you doing when you and number 39 redressed so thinly in the forest in the cold, windy winter?" She replied, "Oh my God, I have to go pick a full basket of strawberries. If I can get it, I will dare to go home." Waiting for her to finish eating the cake, they gave her a broom and said, "Take this broom and sweep away the snow behind the house." While she was sweeping the snow behind the house, the 3 dwarves talked to each other. "She is so gentle and kind, sharing the cake for us to eat. What should we give her now?" The first person said, "I give her more beauty every day than before." The second person said, "I give her this." Every time she finished speaking, a gold coin fell out of her mouth. The third person said, "I give her this. A king will come and choose you to be his queen." Do you know what she found? Under the layer of snow she swept away were all ripe strawberries, ripe red-brown strawberries that looked delicious. She filled the basket with great joy and ran into the house to shake hands with each dwarf and thank them. She ran home and gave her stepmother what she was complaining about. She walked in and said, and quote, "Hello, Mom," and quote, when a gold coin fell out of her mouth. Then she immediately recounted the stories she had seen and heard in the forest. Every time she spoke, a gold coin fell from her mouth, and soon the room was full of gold coins. The stepmother cried, "You Dawn and number 39. Do such a great job," throwing money all over the floor. In her heart, she was very jealous and wanted to go into the forest to find a bride. Mother said, "No, my dear daughter. It and number 39. So cold that you can freeze to death." She could N and hash 39 leave her mother alone, so her mother had no choice but to let her go. She made her a beautiful fur coat and gave her bread, butter, and cakes to take with her. She kept going straight towards the house in the forest. When she arrived, she saw 3 dwarfs also standing and looking out. She didn't and hash 39 bother to greet them or look around. She hurriedly pushed open the door and walked in. She sat down next to the fireplace and calmly took out bread, butter and cakes to eat. The dwarves said, "Please share with us." But she replied, "I still have enough food to eat, so where can I get it to share with others?" Waiting for her to finish eating, the 3 dwarves said, "Here and number 39. Broom, please help us sweep the snow behind the house." She replied, "Oh, Father, you guys should sweep it up. I and number 39 am not your servant." She felt they didn't and hash 39 want to give her anything, so she went out the door. At that time, the 3 dwarfs whispered to each other, "What should we give her? This girl sounds so ungrateful, cruel and jealous that no one can stand it." The first person said, "I give it this. Every day it gets worse and worse." The second person said, "I give him this. Every time he speaks, a toad jumps out of his mouth." The third person said, "I give him this. He died in misfortune." The girl looked for strawberries behind the house but could N and hash 39 find any. When she got home, she told her mother the story of finding a bride in the forest. With every word she spoke, a toad jumped out from her mouth, making everyone disgusted. Meanwhile, her husband and number 39's stepdaughter became more and more beautiful every day. This made her stepmother even angrier, always finding ways to torture her. She took the pot and put it on the stove to boil the fibers. After boiling, she put the yarn on the poor girl and number 39's shoulder, gave her an axe, and forced her to go to the frozen river and dig a hole to sharpen the yarn. She quietly carried the yarn to the river and used an axe to chop rocks. While she was busy working, a beautiful car drove by. The king sat in the car and asked, "Girl, whose family are you from and what are you doing?" "Your Majesty, I am just a poor girl spinning yarn." Seeing the beautiful girl, the king felt pity and asked, "So do you want to go with me?" She replied, "Your Majesty, I also like it." She was so happy that she had the opportunity to go away and spend time with her mother and stepmother. She got into the carriage and went with the king. Arriving at the royal palace, the wedding ceremony was held lavishly, just as the dwarves had promised. The following year the young queen gave birth to a son. The stepmother received the great news and went to the royal palace with her child, pretending to visit. Waiting for the king to leave, the cruel stepmother grabbed the queen and number 39's hair, her daughter lifted her legs, and they threw her through the window into the flowing water. Immediately after that, her ugly daughter climbed into bed, and the old woman covered her head with a towel. When the king returned and wanted to say something, the old woman cried out, "Please take it easy, Your Majesty. The queen is tired. She is sweating profusely. Your Majesty, let the queen rest in peace today." The king never thought of any malice. The next morning the king came again. The king asked about the queen and number 39's health. For every word the queen spoke when answering, a toad jumped out of her mouth, not a gold coin. The king asked why that was so. The old woman said it was because she was sweating too much. The illness would probably pass. In the middle of the night, the cook saw a swan swimming along the gutter and asked, "And what is the king doing? Are you awake or sleeping? And The chef did not answer, so the swan asked again, "What are my guests doing? And Then the chef replied, "And They are all asleep." And The swan asked again, "And Is my child awake or asleep?" And The other person replied, "And Sleeping soundly in the crib." And The swan immediately transformed into a queen, breastfed her baby again, re-spread the mattress, covered the baby with a blanket, then transformed into a swan again, swimming along the gutter. Went out. The first 2 nights happened like that. The third night she told the cook, "Go immediately and tell the king so that he can come here and swing his sword 3 times over my head at this threshold." The cook went to tell the king. The king brought his sword and swung it 3 times over the swan and number 39's head. After the third time, what appeared before the king was the old queen with a healthy smile. The king was extremely happy, but hid the queen in a room. Only until Sunday, the day the baby will be baptized. At the baptism, the king asked, "What is the crime of someone who lifts another person out of bed and throws him into the water?" The old woman replied, "It is best put that person in a barrel surrounded by sharp spikes. Then let the barrel roll down the mountain into the stream. At that time, the king immediately said, "You have condemned yourself." The king ordered the barrel to be taken back, put the evil stepmother and mother in it, used nails to close the lid of the barrel, and then rolled the barrel from the mountain to the stream. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.